Peace. This is a meat and potato sorcery production starring myself, the Water Alchemist. And today I would like to talk about the importance of ancestor worship. In many forms of magic, the ancestors are not only sought for their protection, but also in helping in the everyday lives of those that descended from them. So we know that ancestor worship is appreciated amongst Native American folk magic, voodoo, hoodoo, but also surprisingly, vampire or vampire magic as well. And you can get the book Vampire Magic, A Living Grimoire by Father Sebastian for that, as well as The Secrets of Voodoo by Milo Regard. But let's get into it. A lot of ancestors can help you, but no other reason that some of them are still tied to this third dimensional plane and can't move on until they complete some order of business. So they're still tied here. And I also would like to offer this caveat. Do not call on just any ancestor or deceased family member. If they didn't treat you good when they were alive, why would you call on them when they're deceased? They could be looking to disrupt your life or even attempt partial possession. So be very careful and selective of who you call on to. I was sincerely close with my dad, and for those that don't know, he has succumbed to Alzheimer's and dementia. And I remember what was very distressing to me is once a person gets Alzheimer's, let me tell you through experience, that is like a death sentence because everyone has to suffer around you with the decline. It was very bad for me, and something that stayed with me is that I remember when he was coming from Chase Bay and he got robbed on the porch. And then he almost lost his life in his house, and then it was time for him to move. And a few years later, he was in a so-called nursing home. So I don't think I would have ever been the same because this is a person that, even though we may have had some disagreements, he played a pivotal role in showing me how to be patient, how to be courteous, how to say yes, no, thank you. He served in the war. He was he worked security detail for President Jack Kennedy. He also was a member of the NAACP and also helped me a lot when I was a political activist. So that's someone I would call on towards, like, as far as, like, let's say I want to change my career path or give me the strength and the fortitude to be patient with certain people. That's someone that I would call upon. Let's say that you would call upon your mother or your grandmother to help you get out of a domestic violence situation. And let me be very clear. Lessons will continue to repeat themselves just with a different character actor. So sometimes your deceased relatives will let certain things happen to you until the lesson gets so bad that you have no other alternative but to leave. Yes, sometimes your ancestors or your deceased relatives, they will let bad things happen to you because you are being hard-headed. Remember, they were human too once, so they know. So certain things that you can offer your ancestors: rum. Most ancestors like alcohol. Rum is something. Beer, for example, my dad would drink Miller High Life, Budweiser, or Michelob. So that's something I would offer. He also liked pinto beans. So let's say you have an ancestor that likes chicken Alfredo. You can make that, and what you could do is you could put it on your altar for a few days. Or you could take it somewhere, like take it to a park that you and that person used to go to and leave it as an offering. You can do that. Also, if you want the fairies to help you, a lot of people don't know this, but let me give you a quick magical tip. What you can do is you can take pumpkin seeds. Pumpkin seeds is also good for you to put in your mojo bag. and you can carry that for prosperity. But you can take the pumpkin seeds and you can take them to a wooded area, and you can leave this as a offering for the fairies as well as your deceased relatives. You can do that. So cooking meals are good, or alcohol is good, even cigars are good. These are some of the things you can do. It's very important. If you do have an altar, you can make sure that you have that picture up when you put the meal, picture of them. Have that up. So that's something that you can do. And I would also like to say that your ancestors and your deceased relatives, good and bad, usually are always around. So how you implore them, I leave that to you. That is personal and that's subjective. So I leave that to you. So with that, that is your meat and potato sorcery for the day. I'm the Water Alchemist. Be water, my friend. Peace.